security risks that arise with AI. There are also privacy risks. And so when clients come to us with respect to AI use cases or just AI usage generally, what we advise is that they start thinking about what would a responsible AI policy framework look like for their organization. And so, what does that path look like? So that entails really thinking about the organization's culture and risk tolerance when it comes to AI. And so you'll need to think about who are the stakeholders that should be involved in these conversations. You should have a cross-functional group to make sure you're gathering all of the right perspectives. And then that should ultimately sort of culminate in some sort of policy, responsible AI policy statement and or framework. And that will then lead to, okay, well, how do we sort of operationalize our principles? And in order to do that, we would advise like a risk assessment framework. So many of you are probably familiar with the NIST cybersecurity risk management framework. And so now there's a NIST AI risk management framework. And so that is that is a really good model for how to work through the risks presented to your specific organization. And the risk RMF framework also has RMF core, which goes through sort of key functions to consider. And so those are govern, map, measure, and manage. And so when you're thinking about governance, that's your policies and procedures, that's your structure, that's your core stakeholder group. When you're thinking about mapping, it's just like with cyber risk management, identifying what are the risks. And then when you're and thinking about risk mitigation, and measuring would be like sort of assessing how those risks are being mitigated, and managing is thinking through the long term. How are we going to be monitoring going forward, and the maintenance of a proper program. NIST has also put forth a playbook that actually goes through specific sort of action steps that you can take. So those are the sort of things that we advise clients to start thinking about when they think about implementing AI.